Hi, I'm Chris Carney Graham, and this is my summary of Chapter 16, Is There Another Way? From Coercion and Its Fallout by Murray Sidman. In Chapter 16, Sidman begins by discussing the short-term versus the long-term effects of coercion. At first, coercion seems like it worked to alter a person's behavior, but while there might have been success at that moment in time, there are side effects that we might not see until much later. In the long run, coercion creates more problems than it solves. Sidman says that there's a better way to shape our behavior, and he explains this throughout the chapter. He says that because coercive control is so common, we accept it as a fact of life, and we believe that we have to coercively manage behavior or just have no control at all. And this is the reason that alternatives really hadn't been explored. So once we understand that this isn't true, we can start to see other options. Positive and negative reinforcement and punishment are very powerful means to control behavior, but they are different in many ways. Positive reinforcers strengthen the behaviors that make them happen. For example, when we work, we earn money. Negative reinforcers strengthen behaviors that make the reinforcers stop. So we get out of bed in the morning when the alarm goes off so that we can stop the noise of the alarm. Punishment occurs when we lose something that would have been reinforcing. For example, when a child doesn't get to play because she didn't finish her dinner. Coercion is control through negative reinforcement and punishment. However, using positive reinforcement is more effective in managing behavior. So it teaches us new and appropriate behaviors without creating the unintended side effects of coercion, such as aggression or oppression or depression, for example. And it can support the behaviors that we want the learner to keep. So rather than punishing someone for inappropriate behavior, why not reinforce them for appropriate behavior? It might take a little bit longer to see the results, but in the long run, the better behavior will occur more often. Sidman believes that positive reinforcement is the most practical, non-coercive method of managing behavior. And he illustrates this point with the old adage, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. So people accept that coercion is the only way to change behavior because of our own experiences. And it's the only way we know how to manage behavior. And there are some people who just aren't convinced that positive reinforcement would be a much better way. So Sidman argues that if we eliminate the threat of coercion and use positive reinforcement to teach new behaviors, people are less likely to want to escape from their environment and will want to stay and to contribute positively to that environment. For decades, research has shown that positive reinforcement has been effectively used in areas such as children's behavior at home, in marital counseling, in workplace safety, drug abuse, quitting smoking, and even pet training. Sidman offers a guiding principle that positive reinforcement works and coercion is dangerous. Based on our experiences, we tend to not look for appropriate behaviors to reinforce, or rather than we tend to look for inappropriate behaviors to punish. So these are the ones that stand out, and it's our job to eliminate them or lessen them. We don't stop to think that by reinforcing desirable behaviors, that at the same time that we do this, we can eliminate or lessen the undesirable ones. So by using positive reinforcement and seeing how effective it can be might allow us to see the world as some place worth living. So Sidman goes on to talk about the power of the word no. He says it's used by others to help us to avoid aversive events that we have never experienced. But it's also become a conditioned reinforcer because it has become a warning sign that we are about to be punished. His example is when a child runs toward a busy street and mom yells no, In some cases, that no is followed up by being forcefully grabbed and picked up and then getting a smack. When we live in an environment where we experience no more than we experience yes, we tend to want to avoid or escape that environment. And if we can't, it can cause issues such as anxiety or depression. And these issues can often lead to more dangerous behaviors. Sidman explains that while we can't eliminate the word no, we can use it less coercively. So when we see a child doing something inappropriate, he recommends saying no, but then adding, do this instead, and then reinforce that alternative behavior. Then the word no is no longer associated with punishment, but rather with being reinforced with a new behavior. So my question is, how would you explain the benefits of positive reinforcement and the dangers of punishment to someone who is a hardcore believer in spare the rod, spoil the child, when, as far as they're concerned, the results they've gotten from using that philosophy has seemed to work fine for their 8 and 10-year-old seemingly well-behaved children? Thank you.